May I now request Nikhil sir to introduce the speaker for the day, Dr. Rohan.
Okay. So once again, good afternoon, Jai Hind, everyone. It is my pleasure to introduce another speaker, Dr. Rohan Bhatt. Dr. Rohan Bhatt completed his Bachelor of Dental Surgery course from Bharti Vidyapeeth, Pune, and then MDS in Pediatric and Pediatric Dentistry from Shah Dental College, Vadodara. He is also the additional director of Karnavati School of Dentistry, Gujarat, India, and he's pioneer of exclusive pediatric dental setup by opening first ever pediatric dental hospital in 5,500 square feet area named as Vasupujya in the state of Gujarat, which has been awarded as best clinic in India in 2015. Right now, Vasupujya has 2 active centers across Ahmedabad and Mumbai. He has 38 international and national research papers publication to his credit, including the British Medical Journal and Frontiers. Dr. Rohan Bhatt is a key opinion leader for 3M SP, Colgate, GSK Pharma, and Concert. He is highly acclaimed speaker for his clinically relevant presentations and actively conducts CD courses on various topics of pediatric, preventive, and restorative dentistry. So I welcome Dr. Rohan Bhatt. The presentation is all set for you. Please start your presentation.
Thank you so much, sir, for a lovely introduction and nice words. It's so good to see you in person. Pleasure is as pleasures all are. Before I begin, I would like to, because this is what I always make a mistake of, thanking people who created this amazing concept of rapid revision. I'd like to say thank you to Mosri Madam, the president of ISPPD, nicely said, first lady of our community. Dr. Nikhil sir, as always, supportive for any task and outstanding. But one guy who was relentlessly after me, Dr. Sharath, I would like to acknowledge your offer. It has been fantastic in 3 days. My students are attending it. They are learning it. This is an amazing thing which you pulled off from KSR Institute itself. And I wish you success for many other things to come in your life. Thank you so much, Dr. Sharath. As I requested, the topic is very, very different than what I normally speak all the time. Sir, I've been taking conscious sedation, zirconia, and what all practice management since a very long time. This is a unique topic, but this was very, very near to my heart. You know, sir, why? Because when I was in my postgrad, I was not an amazing student like people used to score marks, but I was that kind of a student who used to read and produce well. So this school always asked me that why the hell you get better marks compared to what we have studied in our time, because we all have studied almost similar. And that came to my mind that to create a concept called the deep dish. The deep dish means everyone prepare a dish in their culinary concept. Now, what do you mean by that? So we all have to form a recipe in order to create an ultimate dish. And the recipe cannot be different while you want to prepare the best dish ever. Let's say a pizza or a donut or something like that. So you have to get deep dive in it in order to produce each layer, each ingredient at the right time. And in today's presentation, I'm just going to walk you a small journey that how an individual, maybe a first year student or a second year student, prepare himself or herself in a way that whatever you guys are studying can create an ultimate deep dish for you. So let's begin with the thing. I love this quote. I wrote it a lot of years ago, about 5-7 years ago, that there is no short formula of success. I don't know that. There is no short formula of success, which I can't give you. But I can tell you what's the formula of failure, because I've failed 100 times in my life and I've keep doing and trying it. The word I used for Dr. Sharath here to praise him, his efforts, was relentless. The way you become after something and you keep doing it, the formula of success decodes itself. There is no other than that. The textbooks are same, the articles, the materials are same. Okay, the libraries are more or less same in every dental college today. Maybe some people have more index journals, or some people have online journals, or this and that. But ultimately, it's up to you what you get to do in that 3 years of life, and then you reproduce it in those 3 hours. And to do more well in detail, we'll go further. I love this. Before we get into any kind of things, I get a lot of people for mentoring session and this and that. I always tell them one thing: if you want to do this nicely, if you want to make it successful, the most important thing for you is to follow PhD principle. For me, my PhD principle is pretty simple: passion, hunger, and determination. We get to meet so many people nowadays, guys. Maybe there must be amongst you that they are in first year or second year in third year. After reaching to half of their curriculum, they realize this science, what they are reading, is not for them. Pediatric dentistry is not for them. But guys, I can tell you, is pediatric dentistry is not as common, as general as what other branches are offering. This is a unique branch. You must love this. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult to survive and keep doing the work for your lifetime. So guys, the first thing what I'm going to tell you is to have the passion of this field. If that passion quotient is missing, then it's going to be really difficult for you to push yourself to next level. The second thing is the hunger. If you guys are not hungry enough to learn and try new things, because here we don't limit ourselves with only one small area of dentistry. Pediatric dentistry is actually some of so many other branches. So you have to be hungry in order to get knowledge and learn something, unlearn your own matter, relearn your own matter, and go ahead with that. If you get stuck, there is nothing like that. And with all these things, the last principle is determination. If you are not determined enough, then you will not survive in this branch. This is the core principle, which is, I would not say missing, I would not say it's difficult to find. No, you will have to find it yourself amongst you, that do you have the PhD for this particular branch what you are talking? Yes, then rest of the things I'm going to explain today is going to be a cakewalk for you, because you felt it, you've been there, you've done that, and there's nothing new about it. And especially in the kids who are studying in first or second year beginning, because this is a time of transition, you must have this. If you have this, your rest of the life is so easy, because there will be a lot of passion doing each case. There will be a lot of hunger, learning new things for each case. And there will be a lot of determination to do it 100% every time when it is required. So guys, this is absolutely must to have it. PhD principle. Moving on with that, as my fellow colleague, Dr. Nikhil Marwa, my dearest friend, is going to explain the practical part of it, which is actually the most tough, because you are genuinely facing a human to answer. Here in theory, the one best thing of theory is it doesn't matter where you are, from where you come from, what you're wearing, what your outlook would be, how you've been through it, nothing. It's pure and pure you. It starts with you, it's end with you. The beauty of theory exam, guys, people get feared in theory exam. I get to meet so many people in theory exam. They say, so we are very scared of theory, but I'm very comfortable with practical. Bolna hi to hai. I just have to go and speak. I can explain myself, but I'm really bad when it just get confined within those particular questions with that pen and paper. But guys, that's the best tool, because it gets confined. The area can become so narrow, and you know what's you are going to produce in next 3 hours. The template is given, so you know what you are chasing. But in Viva, it's so difficult. Every first question determine what's going to be a second question, because your answer has another question in that. And then how you're leading, it's a part of your communication skill. So you'll have to activate your brain with your communication skill, the half part of the science and the full part of confidence in order to talk there, which is extremely difficult, guys. But compared to that scenario of the half an hour, 45 minutes, 1 hour, whatever the time, this 3 hours is fully yours. You and only you are there to write your answer sheet. So only you can make it, or only you can break it here if you will not be in the right frame of mind. So guys, before I get into how to write it, the most important thing nowadays is to how to remain in the right frame of mind. So preparation, guys, starts from day one. People feel, I've been into teaching in multiple years, more than a decade and a half. And students come to us, sir, we need a preparation leave. मैं बोला, why? सर एक बार घर पे बैठेंगे फिर हम प्रिपेयर करेंगे. मैंने MDS के लिए क्या preparation? There are no particular textbook. There is only a confined syllabus, means topics to read. The preparation starts from day one. It's just some of the things you want to revise, some of the things you want to compile that you could pull off in last couple of days. But guys, if you'll pick up your book at the last month or maybe 10-15 days, you're just glancing the pages because the things should have rooted in you has not inculcated yet. It can only inculcate if you start early. I know it could be very wrong, this thing to explain at this point of time for the people who are going to appear this year. But I got to know that there are a lot of registration has happened who are in first year and second year. They are highly interested in order to get into the process of building up a right kind of an answer sheet. Let it be any difficult paper on the earth. And that is why I'm telling you guys, the preparation starts from day one. Each seminar has a value to it because those 15 seminars as a part of your DCI's curriculum is a 15 set topic is in your brain because you work really hard behind it. Those another 30 seminar topics of your fellow colleagues, if you're in a 1 unit system, let's take an example of it. Those 30, you've gone through it, you've heard it, personally understood it. So let's say about 40-45 topics you are sorted with. With time, the kind of cases you do, you're going to prepare your case presentation to cases. So those small topic is also started getting incorporated into that. So it's like building up like a layer cake. And on top of it, your whipped cream or a cherry is going to be your journal club and other discussions, which your faculty is taking with you day by day, is preparing you for next level that, okay, this was contemporary. The technique tha, people were using with this way of working. But now what is latest or how people have tried and what's the success rate of this material, this technique, etc. So that's how you can build an archive here. And last couple of days are purely for revision because you cannot go to war by preparing yourself for 5 days. It's a month's preparation. It's your whole year's time which is devoted to this. And that is why going back to that part of explanation I gave you about PhD principle, about passion, hunger, and determination is makes you unable to appear exam like you are having exam next day. That's how your each day goes. There is no separate preparation for exam. This is not undergrad, guys, that your syllabus is there. Your best friend or senior marks you most important questions, or you can go to your university library and get last 5 years or 10 years question paper. See what is the most commonly asked question, read those and just vomit it there. This place doesn't work. This is master's program. That is why it is spread so far. But the problem it is spread so far, where the moment you start in a year one, maybe in a 6 months, you have that fire to do it every day. But with the amount of time you get sink into it, it just keep loosening up. Okay, we'll do it tomorrow. Kal to aayega, parso aayega, Monday se start karta hu, agle mahine se start karta hu. Now there is a festival. Now I'm going home. Let me come back. I'll start. And then that day doesn't come. And you don't get in middle to pick it up. It's like you were hitting any gymnasium every day and the momentum you lost, now you're not getting back to it because there is no reason you're finding to motivate yourself. So guys, I always say this thing, never motivate yourself to do something, because the moment your motivation goes away, your whole momentum goes down. But remain inclined. That inclination will drive you every morning to do the work which you have done yesterday, to do it 1% better today. And that is only the key to success. Because as I mentioned before, Syllabus in pediatric dentistry is endless. If you see caries, there are books written over it. If you see habits, there are books written over it. Half of our syllabus is intermingling with ortho or endodontics, or maybe a couple of things in periodontics, or a couple of things of oral medicine and radiology. We must also learn how to read a CBCT, to how to perform a minor surgery, how to take sutures, to how to place a crown, to do a different preps, to do a permanent RC, to do a deciduous pulp therapies, to do restorations, to deep, to IPCs, to DPCs, etc. and everything, even in your clinical scenario. Plus, we also deal with a lot of special healthcare needs people. So that's hold together a different ballgame, guys. So there is no confined syllabus which you can sit with a textbook and finish it. Here, every textbook, some part is absolutely relevant to us. So guys, study for yourself, not for syllabus. Study for your satisfaction, not to get marks. Study for your best achievement in life, not to get a gold medal. If you do all this thing well, rest of the things may come to you, but will become stationary. Because if you are just working hard for those couple of marks, the day you will get a little less, you get demotivated. But if you are inclined to do good every day, and as I told you, 1% better every day, then that one lesser or 3 higher will not motivate you. The only kick which you will have is your own inclination. And that inclination will make you do it persistently each day. And how? It's simple. I love Wilfredo Pareto's principle. Wilfredo said, everything is related to 80-20 in life. You can Google it. There are books written over this. There are a lot of videos made over this. A lot of gnan on Google about it. But that's the rule of life. It's simple. Let me explain you in a normal day-to-day example is your 80% efforts gets you 20% result, and your 20% results get you 80% of the outcome. Oh, sorry, 20% efforts will give you 80% of the outcome. So हम जो चीज करने के लिए पूरा almost दिन पीछे पड़ते हैं, वो 20% में आता है, और हम जो 20-30% के effort देते हैं, then the major comes out as a chunk. Maybe it's in terms of money, in terms of work. So many times it happens that you are putting efforts for any question for 80 minutes to an hour to, let's say, 3 hours. But maybe you will be able to produce an outcome of 20%. But which you have just read it once or twice, you can produce it well. So guys, stick to those 80-20 of the ratio. Don't get disheartened that I did so much hard with that, and don't get stuck with it. Just focus this and believe in this rule. And because on this rule I believe in, writing paper is never a science. Because we all are science grad people. We believe in the core fact of science. It is not. Writing paper is an art. The same answer, if I will write it differently with the same content. And example, Dr. Sharath may write it differently. Or may example, Dr. Nikhil may write it differently. Content is same. But the reproduction of the content, it changes, depends on the individual. But the way you represent your knowledge, that is an art. And that art can get you good marks, can get you good applause, because that is what you need to learn. So you may know 80% out of that, but the art is to produce 100% out of it. And that we go to, my friends, see it in later part of the slide. Now, before I begin more core into it, let's understand a fundamental thing: time and marks division. Why do I do that? And why do I say this? Because I meet so many talented students. They know so much. They're not able to finish the answers. They're not able to finish the question paper to write. Finish all the answers. Why? Because they were knowing everything. The biggest challenge is, guys, I'm telling you, if you know all the answer is the biggest trouble. If you don't know your 20% of the paper, you are sorted, because you're going to play around with that 80% and that you can produce well. But the moment you know 100% of it, The problem starts there and then to finish the paper in the stipulated time of 3 hours, guys. I don't know who's invented this 3-hour theory, but it's fantastically well. 1 or 2 is too less and 5 is too much. 3 is perfect. That's what I always believe in, right? 3 is perfect. So it is what it is, guys. We are not here to change anything and accept it the way the Indian MDS exam goes on. I'm just putting it here as an example. Some universities have criteria of taking 75 marks as an exam. Some university takes 100 marks as an exam. To calculate easily, I've written 100 marks and 180 minutes. So your each mark is about 1 minute 50 seconds, is approximately 2 minutes. Imagine, guys, any question paper, a model question paper is 2 long essays and 4 to 5 short essays, depends on the mark division. I have given an example of 100 marks, 25 into 2 and 10 marks into rest of the 5. A 25 mark question, imagine how much time you can give. Approximately 45 minutes. Now in that 45 minutes, what you're going to write, that matters. We're going to see it in later that. And in your 10 mark question, you're going to get approximately 9 to 10 minutes. So those are your short notes. You may find, guys, that we're going to come to that part that writing essay is the most challenging. Everybody tells me, I would say no. Writing short notes are the most challenging because in a smaller area, it's very difficult that examiner expects what you to write in that smaller division of time and lesser marks condition. Because if you are missing on those particular elements, what is essentially important for that answer, you may lose down to a couple of marks together. But when you are writing an essay, you have a lot of time to produce. So chances of getting error is very less. So guys, imagine 25 marks, 45 minutes, 10 marks, about 9 to 10 minutes. Do not exceed your time. Why am I saying this? Is very simple. Because there will be some questions in the examination paper. If you're about to write, let's say 5 short note and 2 long essays, 7 questions. Out of them, 5 you'll be knowing. 1 is like okay and 1 you don't know. So what going to happen is your most favorite question, your जो seminar आपने दिया था वो, या आपके best friend के seminar आपने पढ़ा था वो, or something which came in your prelims or some sessional or terminal exam before, which you're really confident with, you're going to start writing first. And by knowingly and unknowingly, you're going to exceed your time because you want to produce the best at first time. And that's a human psychology, guys. You don't want to conserve your any part of energy for your second and third question. You want to give all to your first question. The moment your first question finishes, your energy is down to 50%. Then you start producing for your second question. By the time third question come up, you are all drained. Almost 45 minutes to go. You are down with, let's say, 30-40% of your paper. So now you started compromising it. Now what's going to happen? Imagine, guys, a 25 marker question where you've given maximum of your time. If you've written best, this is not a mathematic paper, guys. You don't get 100 out of 100 here. This is theory. Theory of a lot of concept. Theory of some angle which you must be missing and what I must be seeing. Simple. Example. So out of 25, you may get best is 18, 20, 22 like that, but not full. So guys, just to get 2 extra marks, you've given 20 extra minutes of that particular answer, which you going to totally lose approximately 2 short notes or 1 full question later, which is going to make you regret minimum 15 marks. So guys, time division is extremely important. First, give yourself 5 minutes, divide it, or you can do it at home. Question 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which is written. Next to it, please write down the time so that you remain adhered to your stipulated time. And what come may, 5 minutes before you start ending your question, in last 2 minutes, you should be just flipping the page to see that what you've missed. And if it is required to fulfill it last in the end, if you get a time, do it. Otherwise, don't keep seeing your paper again, because you start having that second doubt, okay, I would have done that, I would have written this way, I would have done that. Never do that. Rule. Okay, thumb rule, never do that. How to approach the paper? First is, it's a mental game. Do not drain your energy to write. So to maintain energy level, all 180-minute guys, start something with amazingly favorite question or answer of yours is the good. Then hit to the bad one. Then go to the uglier one, which you don't know. Because by that time, your mental energy is there. You can't deal with the ugly, means you can't deal with the answer which you don't know in the end. Till that time, you're fatigued, tired of 2 hours and 30 minutes of exam. Your mental energy is gone and you can't even write a bit about it. So if you take it in middle, there will be a good chance that your recall memory can strike back and you can produce well. And then again, go to the good so that your energy restores what you drained with your bad or an ugly question. So guys, good, bad, ugly, good. So order has to be, write down 1 or 2 questions you know very well, and then good, bad, and then. And even when you're correcting a paper as an examiner, guys, I can tell you, if your first question is the shittiest answer, that's a bad impression you are giving. It is an old saying of making a first impression a right impression. It is true, guys. Everybody in this world lives with perceptions. So if I say first question, second question so badly written, I'm going to start thinking that what this guy must have done in last 3 years, man. He can't even write this answers. The moment I'm going to go to a third answer, my mental energy as an invigilator has gone so much down about you that I'm not going to see the best answer of your life is written as a third or fourth. So I'm going to make your third and fourth as a mediocre answer only because I already felt that you are an okay person when I'm checking your paper. So guys, the key principle is do not jump on dessert first, salad in middle, and main course in the end, and then you are left with no time. Just make a plan. Start slow, steady, amazing soup and starter. Go to the main course. That's where you're going to write down a lot of stuff which you know, and keep a dessert in the end. That, like example, let's say GIC is such a secured question in paper, clinical periodontics paper. I can't say paper 1 or 2. Every different university has different nomenclature. But let's say GIC is such a secure question that you can write it any given time in your life, like a band and loop space pentagram. So save it in the end that you can finish that writing with a little speed and you have only 7 or 5 minutes to go, but you can finish the answer instead of 10 minutes, which should be with you. So that's how it's supposed to be. Writing paper, guys, is a mental game. Good, bad, ugly. Save your energy here to produce well. Why? Because I truly believe in the mental game is like Rocky Balboa. How many of you know this thing? I don't know, guys. You can use a chat box to tell me. I am a big fan of Rocky. And guys, you can put up the questions also. I am going to take your questions by end of the session if I will get the time. Or we can chat it over Instagram. My Instagram handle is Dr. Rohan Bhatt at gmail.com or Dr. Rohan Bhatt. You can search me and you can we can chat over that in detail later. So why do I love Rocky? In each movie, in each fight, he says one typical dialogue is one punch at a time. Don't anticipate. Don't overthink. Don't calculate how much you know, how much you are left to write. Nothing. Just start writing one, stick with one, finish, go to second. It's a mental game, guys. One punch at a time, one set at a time, and one game at a time. While you are finishing your game, don't think about next game. Means don't think about the second paper. While you are about to finish the question, don't think about second question, what you're going to write, because then you're going to miss out in this same question. Or while you're writing the same question, don't keep thinking how much is left or how much you have to recollect, because there may be one bouncer in the paper which you have to duck and think about it again. So guys, don't overthink, don't panic, don't calculate, don't anticipate, do nothing. It is what it is. This is your question paper, and just zone in, just dive in. And I always say, guys, capsule theory. Behave like you are in a capsule. And we as a dentist, we need to learn that you may come from the most or worst emotional experience of your lifetime, from the family to personal life to anything, or a patient has screwed up your mind. But the moment you start working again, You'll have to get into the zone in and become a person who's working in a capsule that no external thoughts or influence can driven your brain to get it detached from the thing what you are doing. And guys, that is only the key to success. Zone in principle. So guys, the moment you get the paper, you've done the time division, you know what is my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in order to conquer the questions in the examination, and then leave it aside. Just don't keep seeing it and keep anticipating. The art of writing is simple. The template is key, guys. You cannot figure out that I will start writing and then I will keep producing whatever comes in my mind. No. First 2 minutes, guys, you'll have to sit with your pen and a pencil with your trash page, that what you're going to write in particular question. Template. Create a template that this is how I'm going to write. This will be my base, which I'm going to explain. This will be my comparison I'm going to put. These are the schematics I'm going to involve. Those diagrams has maximum role. And that's going to be in the end, I finish. So template is the key, guys. Do not start writing by keeping things in mind, what you're going to write next and further. That template should be in your brain while you're writing it, because I don't want you to write down, I mean, what do you call overwrite it? Because you've given a very long introduction. Then you realize, my God, my time is gone. And then you squeeze down to your main pulp and you have one line as a summary. No, it doesn't work. It has to be absolutely apt what is required. So use a pencil and just draft it. This is what we know it, but we never do it. Why? Because we go in when we know the answer in overconfidence. And that's why we overkill with the time. So guys, learn to break it down, each question you get, in order to make a template in your brain. Now, what do you mean by breaking down questions? Simple. I've just written a very simple question here. Define, classify, explain thumb sucking habit and management of thumb sucking with relevant literature. Now in this, some people think, okay, let me write down those fancy studies and newer generation appliances will fetch me more marks. Some people just classify 7 classifications in that. Some people just explain thumb sucking like there is nothing in the life beyond thumb sucking. And some people give 5 definitions and they think that, okay, I should get full marks. Guys, it's not like that. You have to write 1 or 2 most relevant definitions there. So if you break it down, your 50%, okay, in this question, let's take example, they have divided in 4 parts: define, classify, explain, and management. So those first component where the full stop is carries your 50% mark and management carries your 50% mark. Let's say it's a 25 mark question. We are dividing into 12.5 marks, 12.5 marks. Now further go down, explanation and classification means explanation will have, let's say, about 7.5 mark, 5 marks for 1 or 2 classification you're going to write, and let's say about 2 marks for 1 or 2 definition you're going to write. So guys, each thing has each marks. Don't you think that if you write down 5 definition, no classification, you explain well with a lot of studies with the management, and you feel that you've not obtained good marks because you missed out on classification. So each thing is very important and critically relevant when you have to produce in the paper with equal justifiable amount. Don't overdose with something and don't leave anything behind. So write 1 or 2 definition, then write 1 or 2 classification. Then explain thumb sucking, how it works, what are the problems, what are the damages we get. Add in, explain as much schematics, diagrams as you can, so that the person like us who are an invigilator don't have to go and read much in detail, because your examples, your diagrams, your schematics are self-explanatory. And then finally, your explanation of relevant literature. That's where you're going to incorporate a couple of studies to explain what are the new generation matter. Now, people ask me a lot of time that how much to include in a short essay, how much to include in a long essay, how many studies should be there. There is no criteria like this. The number of study equals your marks. But yes, in a 12 marker, 15 marker justified one component of exam, one component of answer in the exam should include minimum 3 to 5 studies, because those much Those are the studies you must know for each topic in order to compare it with the older and the newer condition. So guys, that's the baseline. When you are studying now in a first and second year for your maybe rotary system to crown to luting to adhesive to sealant to bonding to etc. Minimum 4 to 5 gold standard studies you must know, because that's when your comparison ends, because you know what's done, what's being doing now, and which is the best way to deal with this case later. This is part number 1, where you're bifurcating all the questions and then deciding it by the examiner. Guys, if you write it this way, you're going to obtain the best number of marks. I can promise you that. The second question is very straightforward. No parts. Dental care is epidermal there. Easy. Don't worry, guys, that there is no bifurcation. I don't know how much to add or not. Simple. That means this is 25 marker question. Now, India has 5 zones. So if I will write each zone, explain very well, each zone is going to be about 5 marks in mind. So there also inherently you can divide to write. And then each zone, if you write it down very well, you're going to start getting 3 to 4, 3 to 4, 3 to 4, 3 to 4. And let's say you have 5 zones to explain and you obtain 3.5 marks, or let's say 4 marks in each zone. So you are about to get 18 to 20 marks out of 25, which is amazing in an MDS exam if you could manage to produce well. But do not make this kind of mistakes that you are explaining 2 zones so much in detail and rest of the 2 zones are this size because you did not get time to finish it. So guys, your 2 zone which you explain in detail, you will get you 4 out of 5 maybe. And the zone which you could not reproduce, that maybe give you 1. So eventually you'll end up getting not more than 10 to 12 marks. And that's why you feel that I wrote so much, but I did not get appropriate marks. The reason is simple, guys. You could not mentally understand the game, mentally bifurcate it to create a template and adhere with the template which you have created. And then you missed out on the time and energy both. So further going in detail now to answer each question, I'm going to tell you a simple thing. As I told you before, it's not about the ultimate dish, guys. It's about the recipe. I may make dal, somebody else makes dal, a restaurateur makes dal, big name chef makes dal, but everybody's taste is different. Why? Because it's about the recipe. Recipe is extremely important, guys. Content production is only 80%. Adhering the rest of the things I'm teaching you is 20%, makes you successful with 100%, guys. So follow something is called a layer cake principle. We all have eaten layer cakes, right? One layer of kind of a bread, then comes the sauce, then comes the cream, then comes the fruits or dry fruits or chocolates or something, and then excuse me, it goes on and on. So do you think this layer cake was formed without forming the layers? Absolutely not. Do you think that they manufacture one slot at a time? No. As I told you before, they made one layer at a time, and then second, then third, then fourth, and that's how you should create. And that's where my title today, I put it further, and it's there on my Instagram. A lot of people ask me this morning, the deep dish. What do you mean by deep dish? I said that's the fundament to go inside to understand the dish, how it is being prepared from base to the top. So to do that, the first rule I'm going to explain is creating template in your mind. So as I've been explaining how to create template, this and that, the whole recipe, you must know. You cannot start cooking and in middle, you have to go on Instagram or open a book to read it again. No, it doesn't work that way. When to introduce what ingredient will go at what time, it must be there in your brain. And that is why I love this quote saying, start with end in mind. In life, guys, even in life, this quote is appropriate. Start with end in mind. If you do not start with end in mind, you just keep writing, keep doing something, you may reach somewhere, but that's not the right destination what you were looking at. That's not a right conclusion of an answer, because you will just conclude it abruptly. Like that Bahubali one, that people were waiting for 2. And I'm very sure you don't want to make 2. That means appearing again. That's why just be in it, format a template, and just know when to introduce what ingredient, means your what part of answer coming here to create that end in mind, create that end what is there in your mind, because it's already there in your mind. So in order to do that, please first create the base. Here your base is going to be those fundamentals which you've learned from the textbook to other materials. So guys, first base is you must know and figure out what you're going to write 70% in that question which is being asked. Don't try to be very fancy. Don't go and read a lot of high grade stuff. Stick to your basis, guys. Don't try to reinvent a wheel, because many times we have seen people studying those drugs of general anesthesia in so much detail, and they fumble even answering local anesthesia. This was just an example, guys. So stick to the basic, create a base which is so rock solid as a foundation about your knowledge. And when you start writing it down, that base should be there, that what you're going to include in the exam time. Now, what is the most essential ingredient? Which goes first? Those are your definition and classification, guys. Every academician, I don't know why, even I and my teachers all love definitions and classification. Now I do understand why, because that's the one way you can understand the topic so much in detail. But guys, maybe some people can memorize it, some people can't. You might have to mug it, write down, whatever. But essential ingredients like the main sauce, if you have to put it on your pizza base, has to be definition and classification. I've never seen somebody's getting full marks where they have written a wrong definition or a wrong classification and the rest of the justification is 100% apt. I've never seen that. So guys, please, because you only know what you're going to write further. So write down your definition, classification first, and then cook up the story. Because as I mentioned before, nobody else today knows other than your own brain by seeing at a question that what you're going to produce in this answer. In your brain, there are 4 legit topics you're going to write down there as a subtopics, but you may end up explaining 3 only, and you felt it is justified for this condition or according to the number of marks and the time which I'm left with. You just summarize it and leave it. So don't worry, guys. Nobody knows you wanted to include 4 and you wrote 3. But everybody will get to know when they are checking the paper that you had to write a definition which is entirely missing. So do not rush to cook fast. Include everything which is important, and your answer has to be like a beautiful story, like a journey. Whenever somebody is just flipping the page, should realize, okay, these are my set expectation about each answer. And my expectation as an invigilator, this person who's written the answer has included those definition, classification, those schematics, those beautiful diagrams. The way they've written is very clean and neat. The flow charts, maybe with any kind of handwriting, guys, I'm not getting into that. And then finally, a good summary, a conclusion. There was a good index in the beginning so that I did get to know what this guy is going to include. So guys, don't rush to cook fast. You may get burned. And don't rush to cook so slow. You may get delayed and there is no pizza left for you. Rule number 5, guys. The rule number 5 is so important, because we feel that I've filled up, let's say 5 or 7 supplement of pages. I've filled up, let's say, about 70 pages of writing in 3 hours. Outstanding, guys. You are like a marathon writer. But guys, what's relevant here is how well you are readable there and how much content which you want. When an invigilator is checking, that exam checker, that paper corrector is checking, should get noticed between mammoths of writing and those English heavy words. So guys, manage to incorporate as many flowchart as you can. Even you can explain your whole theory in a flowchart, so that person has to read that. And flowchart, why do I love it? Flowchart works on a brain algorithm. When you're learning, those early age of computers, which we have learned in our school, which was not relevant, which is absolutely not relevant now. But they also make us do a flowchart system in a computer in order to make a triangle or a square. Because that way also computer takes command and then you can go ahead. Same as a brain function in a real thing is if you put a flow chart that your whole sauce over your pizza is rich everywhere, has an equal taste with the real density over it, and nothing is missed or overlooked in the whole recipe. So your flow chart plays essential role in order to make person like me, let's take an example, if I'm a paper checker, understand that you have included all right things which is apt for this answer. So guys, do not forget one thing, flowchart. You may finding it, oh yeah, we do know about flowchart, but nobody does it. I've seen least paper following this funda what I'm teaching. And then in the end, once you have a template in mind, all the things I've taught, comes the flowchart, you wrote the whole part, then comes your garnishing of your pizza dish. Going more deeper into it is adding quotes, adding studies and quoting authors at the right time. So your author should look like olives, talk like taste like pickle, and simple smell like artichokes. That means if you're writing down those amazing gold standard authors and quotations or citations, whatever you want to call that, make sure you're writing it technically so smartly that those things in that flowchart should pop out in a person who's checking the paper so that it doesn't left unnoticed. Don't just keep rubbing it behind and you tear off the paper, not in that way, but should include so smartly that while they are glancing also those names can keep popping the brain so that my brain thinks, oh my God, this guy's included this also. Oh my God, this also. Very nice, very nice. So when I just finish flipping the pages and come to the last page where I'm going to think in my brain about how much marks you deserve in this answer, the smell, taste, and look of your garnished product with an amazing sauce and a base can fetch you the more than 80% mark you can deserve. So guys, the most important rule number 6 is adding up that. And the rule number 7 is the most forgetting rule number 7. And it's the most common rule number 7. And today, while I started the session, I said that I always forget to say thanks to people that matter the most on that particular hour. Because that is our tendency, never to summarize and never to create a closure of a story. So if you written a beautiful answer, summary and conclusion, if you're missing, then that answer is losing out is an essential essence. So do not end a story without a closure. You need to give a closure for the story you've created. That means you need to pack your pizza rightly as you have garnished. Otherwise, if you will not pack it well, that pizza will go stale. So guys, summary and conclusion, maybe you're writing 3 or 4 sentences. It's not another full page I'm asking, but it has to be there in order to summarize what you've written all in 3 to 4 sentences and conclude it. Because it may happen that your flow chart, your diagrams, some or other way invigilator has not understood. And what happens? Simple. You don't get marks. But your closure, that means your summary and conclusion, can fetch you the best number of marks. So don't miss out on that. Don't leave unfinished business. Means do not think that, okay, if I will write about 80 marks of paper, I'm going to write it so confidently, I'm going to get 70 or 60 out of it. No, it's highly unreliable. Please attempt the whole paper so that your probability, your chances of passing and getting good marks is much higher. As I explained before, that leaving a short note is more dangerous rather than writing a long essay more. Do not forget this, guys. Leaving even a short note can make you get short of 7 marks straight. But if you focus more on writing one question more, will not get you more than 1 mark extra. So guys, divide your time and conquer. And while you are reading, guys, and this is my couple of last slides here, is simple. Outer circle to inner circle. Now I told you how to write. I'm not here how to make you study. But guys, I can tell you what is outer circle and inner circle is. Prepare each topic as your 100-marker question. Guys, I'm going to repeat. Prepare each topic as your 100-marker question. You can write down so easily 25 marker. You just need to change the template to this size, like a funnel which is getting narrowed down. And short note is just the bottom part of it. You just have to think that, okay, in 10 marks, if I will write down this relevant 10 things of anything example, which is more than enough to get you 8 or 7 out of it. You cannot prepare short notes separately. You cannot. Now in this session, only to take an example, lasers and MID we just heard. MID itself can come as a 100 marker and laser itself come as a 100 marker question. So you cannot prepare it like 25 marker or a 5 marker short note or 10 marker. Just prepare each question as a 100 marker. Because a lot of people come to me and say, doctor, everything is fine. I've learned everything. You wrote, you explained me about how to write paper, how to bifurcate, what's the ultimate deep dish recipe from bottom to top, how to write flow chart, yeah, everything is done. सब समझाया. पर सर जब वो बाउंसर आता है ना आखिरी दिन का वो 100 मार्क 2 सवाल पूरा दिमाग खराब. Or some university is only one question, some university gives 2 questions, maybe 50 marks. Then everything goes bonkers, you know. And what if I don't know that question? Or what if I don't get the option? I said, it doesn't matter. It is going to be amongst your 50, 100 topics which you have prepared. So do not prepare by seeing it. It may come as short note, long note. Just prepare each question that what if this question comes as a 100 marker. That's it. When you're just reading it, just think in your brain, what if this question comes as a 100 marker? And that's where you can narrow down the funnel. That's when you can go outer circle to inner circle, means 100 marker to 25 to 5 or 10. Or 50 marker to 25 to 10. That's where your outer circle to inner circle works. It's simple, guys. Simple, but adhere to the basics. Don't go so fancy. Here on that note, it's about time I finish. I am still 2 minutes to go. Just want to give you a glimpse of the practice where I am right now. There's a waiting area. There's a clinic where I work. We got 6 chairs, central and nitrous, play area, separate sterilization room, and this is where I'm sitting here. It's a consulting room with lounge and etc. In-house OPG and a lot of stuff. I love pediatric dentistry. I am totally passionate about it. I eat, breathe, drink this subject. I do teach at a college as a professor, and now I am also additional director of the Karnavati School of Dentistry and University as well. And I practice dentistry, guys. So that is what my PhD principle is. And that makes me energetic each day, each hour doing each things. So guys, simple outer circle to inner circle, stick with your basic, adhere, same principle your teachers have taught you. And in this generation, Nikhil sir, I would like to tell one more sentence, respect them. I truly love my teacher today. I may have hated them when they were teaching me because I didn't see it, what they were showing me. But the moment, the times when you pass out and you keep conquering those difficulties, you realize कि यार तब ये ऐसा बोला था और ये वही तो था, and you start valuing it. So please respect them. This is highly required at that point of time. And for any other further connect or contact, I'm always most available on Instagram as a Dr. Unroad, my handle. And to finish, I'd like to finish with a beautiful quote, which I truly believe in. Nothing can accomplish in life without hustle, struggle. Just remain lucky. And that's where I'm signing off. And thank you so much for organizers and my modulators to hang on with my full-on story.
Over to Nikhil sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Rohan Bhatt, for taking students into the examination hall and telling some very important tips. And we will be taking some questions after the third lecture. So should I introduce the third speaker as well?